Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to take a look at our first early morning level. When I set out to create a 2D game, my primary goal was to create an environment that was both visual appealing and full of depth. Right now, I'll talk a little bit about the depth aspect. Coming from the animation industry, I worked mostly in storyboards. One of my major duties was to create a believable world in 2D space. When you watch an episode of The Simpsons, everything is completely flat, but your mind is tricked into believing that the world isn't just side to side, like a drawing on a paper, but near and far as well. We use a number of tools to achieve this effect, and I brought some of those tools with me into Dusty Sprocket. First is perspective. This is the big one. Just as telephone poles shrink into the distance while you're driving, so do the trees in Dusty Sprocket shrink as they move further and further away from the battlefield. If I use the same tree in the foreground as I do in the background, your subconscious goes to work at figuring out just how far away the smaller tree is. In reality, however, they're the exact same distance away, just one is smaller and moving at a slower rate. Second is atmospheric perspective. A tree very close to you can be extremely dark, but a mountain of those same trees in the distance can be a light blue. How can this be? The moisture in the air actually has a bit of color, and objects further away have a lot more moisture to move through before that image can reach your eyes. This causes the mountain full of dark trees to lighten the more it moves into the distance. The two layers of forest in this level are a good example. The further trees are a tad lighter than the closer. This is all that's needed for your brain to understand that the lighter trees must be further off. The third tool is overlap. By purposely positioning objects in front of another, the brain knows which object is in front. To reinforce this idea, I usually add contrast in the form of mist between layers. Notice the 3 layers of grass in front. They provide an example of all 3 of these tools in action. The grass gets smaller as it moves into the distance, the grass gets lighter as it moves into the distance, and the grass overlaps one another with mist layers to reinforce this idea. For more details of the game, check out dustysprocket.com or search for Dusty Sprocket on Facebook and Twitter.